Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the VR Ops Operator's Guide. Today we have Hasco7 here with us to talk about some epic gameplay and stuff. You want to say anything before we start?
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Alrighty, well, that's it. Let's get started on some Echo Combat. Alright, we're here on the map Surge and Echo Combat with Hasco7, and she's going to talk about all the new cool odd and end things you can do to keep you from getting destroyed in VR. So I'll leave it to her.
Hello, everybody. So I love this map. It's great. This is one of the payload maps, of course, so you already know you're moving this down there. So basically, when you come out with your team, if you have 3 teammates with you, there are 4 of you total, then one of the things I always recommend is consider which map you're on before you choose which gun you have. And there are some maps, for example, where it's not as good to use the Nova because you really do kind of have to shoot further, which would be like Comet or Meteor. And then more mid-range shooting would be like your Pulsar. But on this map, you actually can use the Nova pretty well. Actually, you can use all the guns on this map really well. But you want to make sure that when you come out, this is a great map because one of you can be here, and somebody on the defensive squad, they're usually going to be down there in that diamond, shooting right here towards this payload, so they can just splash that payload there.
So on this diamond here?
Or whatever. Yeah, down the big one, the big huge diamond where they're going to be hiding behind it.
Oh, yes.
So not the little, not the opposite, but the big, that whole big diamond there. They're going to be shooting from that area most likely. Occasionally you'll have some trying to hide on the sides, but either way, regardless, I'd recommend for this map, one person stay there or 2 people, and then at least 1 or 2 people come out. I'm going to go around the edges. Come out around the edges here. You see me coming this way? And then you can come, some people go straight through there. However you do it, it doesn't matter. I prefer to come around the edge like this. And then what you want to do is try your best, regardless of which gun you use, but try your best to get around behind them so that if you have a Nova, for example, you might want to come shoot them close up. Or if you can possibly boost back here together with your teammates, or you can fly back here. You can also boost 2 or 3 of you at a time to get back here. On this map, that's really important because if you can have 1 or 2 or 3 of you back here shooting toward that diamond we showed from the other side, then you're distracting them so that when they're sitting here, all of them are around here shooting toward the payload, and you're back here, well, obviously either you're going to kill them or they're going to have to turn around and shoot towards you to keep you from killing them, which means now you just freed up an opportunity for your teammates to move that payload forward. So I really like this map because I think it gives you a lot of opportunity for close-up combat and just being tricky and sneaky, which I enjoy in the game. So you can sneak around, you can boost through and shoot them, but either way, the objective in this area, I think, should be to get behind them so that your battle is out here rather than
What an excellent,
if you're on the offensive team.
What an excellent strategy for this for the first part of this map. I do have a question, however. I see a lot of people when I come in here and play, and they like to come over the top a lot of times. How better is that for the offensive versus going under here and sneaking up on your enemy?
I actually prefer going under. If I'm on the offensive team, absolutely. My teammates and I would go under and go up that way. I do see a lot of people also trying to go over the top. I guess it's just a preferential thing, but I don't think that's as good because if I were here and I were on defense on this map, if I'm on this map on defense, I'm definitely not going to use the Nova. I'm going to use probably the Meteor because I can just sit here, be all around here, and just, killing them with Meteor shots to the Flamingo. Or if people start to come out, I can just try to keep them away from me. I'll be back here a little ways so I can see them coming through here. And so I would still use a Meteor if I were defensive on this map. Now that's me personally, but if I did that and I saw somebody boosting over the top, all I have to do is turn around and shoot them with the Meteor up there. And same thing honestly down here if they come around and try to do that. But yeah, that would be my strategy for which gun I would use on which side for this little area right here. And sometimes because people get in a habit of using certain guns, I also think it's good to switch it up. So let's say that my team was on defense and the other team on offense is coming forward, but they haven't quite got here yet, and I died. If I died, sometimes I might switch and just use a different gun because it's good to throw people off because they're expecting you. For example, I used to always use the Nova only. It's the only thing I ever played with in combat. So people got used to that and they knew just to stay away from me because you have to be real up close to shoot with the Nova. So they would just totally try to avoid me so I couldn't kill them. And so now I switched and I use the long shotguns sometimes so that I don't have to be up close. And then occasionally I'll just switch out and use something else because it's good strategy to not always use the same thing.
Very true.
You have to surprise people. Yeah, give them a surprise. Okay, so on this part of the map, this is another, as you say, a chokehold point. And so the offense is going to be bringing it up this cool little hill here, and the laser opened that up. And this is really difficult to get through, I think. This is a difficult part for the offense because they have to come up and over this, while the defense can be shooting them down through here, but the defense can also come down through these little openings here. There's one here and one on the other side. And so one thing they can do is, one thing I do when I'm on defense sometimes, I'll fly down and fly straight around and under there, and then fly back around this way and kind of hide over there so that maybe the offensive team won't even see me. Like sometimes you don't always want to be obvious, well, you don't usually want to be obvious.
Payload returned.
You don't want to let them know where you are, so you can just kind of sneak around like that. And if you can ever come up behind anybody, regardless of which gun you're using, if you're in the Nova, you then get up close. But if you're not, you can just shoot them with your faraway guns. But you're going to have an advantage if you shoot them from behind, because you can usually get 2 shots off before they realize that the shot's coming from behind rather than in front. And then by the time you have 2 shots off, if you were accurate, you only need 1 shot, usually more, to kill them. And so that's a really good thing for people to do. I always, when I was playing this when the game first came out, and I was playing it like, a lot, and everybody knew I would always flank. So if they saw my name on there, they would just say like, oh my gosh, just always be looking behind, because I flank people a lot. It's just fun, and it's a good way to kill people because they're not expecting anybody to be behind them, because we're supposed to be moving forward in the map. So they're just anticipating that people are going to be in front of them. But that's the thing with a game like this, you have to have better strategy than your opponent. And so obviously, if I can get an advantage by flanking, then I'm going to do that.
There is no up or down in zero gravity.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, so it doesn't, and we can fly all around, so we need to make sure we do that. Now, if we're coming up here on offense, we're coming up the hill, that's for a defensive strategy there as far as flanking. But if you're on offense, I like to have, in this part right here, I think it's very, very important to have as many people as you possibly can on the Flamingo, because it goes faster, the more people that are on it. And so if you have 2 or 3 on there, and maybe they can be looking like one there, one there, one there. If you have 3, they can each watch all these sides, one right, one left, and one forward. Then your 4th person, however they can get up there,
30 seconds remaining.
I personally prefer coming up and coming around like this, and then just sneaking. So if I'm on the offensive team and I'm the person that's not on the payload, I would fly up around the edge and try to sneak up here, and whatever gun I have, I definitely watch and make sure there's no enemies that have respawned coming out that way. Then I would just start shooting them down here, because they're usually hanging over the edge there. Or if they're back here occasionally, of course I would sneak around this way and come up, depending on the gas stuff again. I'd shoot them here, kill them with the Nova, whatever. But I would again flank them if I'm on the offensive team. That's usually what I do. Or I would stay on the payload with the Meteor or the Comet and shoot them long range. But in this section,
it is on and ready when you are.
2 or 3 on the payload and just 1 person coming around to distract the others. Okay, so in this last section, I think this is a really fun section because it's pretty challenging, but you have a lot of areas where you can sneak in, like people sneak through those little tunnels over there, or you can come back here and hide. You can hide in places. So one thing you can do on offense here, again in this section, I think it's really good if you can have as many people as possible on the payload, because you're going to go a little faster. But if I were on defense, it's good to have people hiding all around. And here's another spot where if you can fly up there and wait and hide, like say down there or behind the doors there, like on the back sides there, like for example, maybe there or here, I do that. And I'll show you another good place is if you're out here, I'll show you this real quick and I'll hop back on the payload, but you know how these tunnels are here? So once the payload gets past this, nobody's worried about this anymore. But I could still be waiting over there, not shoot at anybody, then come around behind here. And now I'm talking if I'm on defense. Now look, the payload's there, so where are those guys on offense looking? They're looking that way because my teammates are all shooting at them if I'm on defense. So if I were on defense, I would go around, take that back tunnel, and come up this way and shoot them from behind. You see that? So again, I would flank them there. You just have to be careful because as these guys die, of course, then they're coming around that way, so you don't want them coming in behind you. Now, in this area, it's really good here. There's just so many places and areas. Every gun works. You can hide anywhere. You can shoot up from under people. I really like in this section.
Yeah, I like this spot too.
Under some areas down here, like I'll be under something like this and shoot up toward the people because they usually aren't looking down. So I love shooting up under people. I don't always flank in this area because I tell you why. The offensive team in this section is expecting people to come around behind with these side little areas here. So they're expecting you to fly around and try to flank them in these two side areas. Now, if you can go all the way around and get behind in that tunnel, it's fine. But in these two areas, it's better to go under or over the top. So another place I'll go is if I'm on defense, I'll come over here. And this is great. I love doing this. You can use different guns, but come like right here, and as they come up over that hill, shoot them like this. And then when they start shooting back at you, it's great. You just fly up here and start shooting them from above.
You chase them around in circles.
Yeah, I mean, just harass them. Like if you're shooting from below, then they catch on, shoot them from above. And so be moving, you know, it makes
and vice
sense to move
versa.
around. You don't want to stay in the same spot. Yeah, and so if I'm on the payload for this area, again, it's always good to have 1 or 2 people or 3 people stay on the payload, depending on which guns you're using and what your teammates are like and stuff. And I don't use the Nova quite as much in that section, even though it would be useful in that section because you get close to people. I actually prefer a different gun there. But once I get up here, if I'm dead and go back and I'm on the offensive team, man, I'll get that Nova and come up here, and while people are shooting at the payload, I'll sneak around and come up through here. See, they're usually up there shooting down at the payload, so I'll come around like this, crawl up here,
Sneaky
and shoot them
Hasko.
in the head. Yeah, just shoot them in the head. Just kill them right away. So, you know, there are a lot of different strategies, but those are some that people can use, and just give them some different ideas. You know, work with your teammates, be creative, don't use the same strategies all the time, flank people, practice with different guns, and stay on the payload as much as you can in this map especially.
Woo!
We've won!
Well, alright, that's it for this episode of the VR Ops Operator's Guide. I'll be covering more stuff in Echo Combat eventually, but I have some other games to cover next. So stay tuned and hear a few words from Hasko before we go.
Thank you so much for having me on your show today. That was a lot of fun. And if anybody has any other questions or anything, you can always check out the Echo Games Discord. And there is also the VR Community Builders. We have channels on different social media. There are always people around to help out. We love having new people come into the community, and we definitely want to make sure that you enjoy your experience in Echo VR. So please come join us. And if you have any questions, look me up, message me on Discord, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you want.
That's Hasko 7.
Thanks, Biohazard.